be on, or is it like?
I don't know how cool it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but basic searches is good. The more blogs you read within what you're interested in, you start recognizing people and seeing them, start following them on Twitter, and people are just sharing. Yeah.
So you think the best networking for blogging is actually using Twitter or commenting on blogs?
Commenting on blogs is great because depending on the blog, you're creating a better connection with other bloggers. Twitter is great just for getting your blog and your information out, sharing other pieces of information that you find.
And then I guess another question I have is, because I also have a personal blog, and I find that people in Hong Kong, they don't leave a lot of comments, but maybe more people from the States or Canada, they will leave more comments. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think to this day I haven't gotten any comments from Hong Kongers. I don't even know if they read. No, they do. They do read my blog, but no one leaves comments from Hong Kong. I don't know why that is. It's very different. It's funny because I know so many bloggers, but I feel like we're not. Yeah, we talk or tweet, but we're not leaving comments on the actual site. I don't know if that's a cultural thing, but a lot of my comments do come from the States or Europe.
Hey, Connie. Yeah, one question. You just mentioned you want to start using WordPress. And you showed me yesterday a phone. Do you have the phone with you?
Yes.
Can you show it to the audience, please?
Oh, God. Okay.
Sorry for embarrassing you right now.
Okay, I have a story though. I have a reason why I have this phone. So before I came to Hong Kong, I've only been in Hong Kong for slightly over a year. Before I came to Hong Kong, I was traveling for 3 years. Traveling primarily in the Middle East and then in Asia. And I didn't have a phone. I was not using it because I didn't know anyone. And because I was constantly on the road, I wasn't going to kind of have friends to meet up with for dinner or things like that. So I didn't have a phone.
Right, stop apologizing. Show your phone to the audience. Show it.
I have a reason. So I came to Hong Kong and I decided I wanted to stay. Started looking for a job and I needed a phone. So because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find a phone, a friend of mine just gave me a random phone he found at his office that still worked.
The software ran out 1997. You can't send a text message from this
I
phone.
can send a text message.
God.
That is it.
You still think you use TripAdvisor.
It's a very
can't
old
use
phone.
WordPress.
It's an old
And your favorite
BlackBerry.
color is magenta.
Oh my God! So if you become a blogger, you get free things.
And you have to post whether your BlackBerry will blank.
What?
You have to post whether your BlackBerry will blank. Do you know? Will it blank?
Yeah, they put in the blender and they turn on and see if they can
Yes,
electronic devices. Fantastic. Connie, close the picture here.
It's about to fall out of the box.
Let's get that part of the cool picture. Any other questions? Well, Connie, yes? Okay, over here.
Hi.
Hi.
Quick question. I'm not sure how long you've been blogging, but when you started blogging, before you became famous, you mentioned interaction. How do you promote interaction with your readers? And how, I mean, obviously, like you said, in Hong Kong people don't actually read comments. So how do you promote interaction with your readers?
When I started blogging, I really had no concept of blogs becoming something more than just, hey mom, look at what I'm doing. And that was really why I started my blog. Because I had all these friends back in the States who were so supportive of me leaving my job and going out and traveling and doing all this volunteer work. And I thought, I can't really just keep sending emails, right? So I decided to start a blog and then just have them go there. So just like James, in the beginning, I was always like, hey guys, read my blog, read this. And they weren't really doing it, And they'd just be like, oh, where are you now? I'm like, why aren't you reading my blog? It's, it says right there where I am and what I'm doing. So that was kind of how it started. And then I think when I started meeting more people in my travels and finding out that they were also writing about their experiences, I was interested in just seeing how other people were seeing themselves, seeing the world, not necessarily where they were going, how they were getting there, what was a good place to stay or eat, but just what were they seeing in this world and how is it changing them, and finding inspiration in that. And so I think with that, I became more interested. So then just kind of creating more of a community within myself, or not within myself, but with other bloggers who were also doing the same type of things. And that's really how it is. So it really is connecting with your audience.
Great. Okay, thanks, Connie. A round of applause for Connie. And next we have Razlan.
Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Razlan. Probably could tell from my accent I'm not from around here, I'm Chinese. I'm a Malaysian. I lived in Singapore for a long time, so I carry a very strong Singapore accent.
We will hold it against you, don't worry.
Thank you. Right. I run a blog at razlan.net. It's called You Got Me Blogging. Maybe I just go a little bit into it. Actually, what is You Got Me Blogging? It's actually at razlan.net, and I blog mostly about food and travel, like most of my fellow speakers here. Surprisingly, I actually started blogging about food since I come to Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is such a food and feeding city. There's so much things you can talk about. There are endless food out there, restaurants everywhere. And I started travel a few years back around the world, and I started blogging about them as well. And I agree entirely with Tony that it's not about trying to tell people what the place is like, where to get best hotel and all that, but it's about your experience. It's a passion about travel that you need to blog about. But today, I'm not going to talk about what is Razlan.net. I'm not going to talk about what is You Got Me Blogging. I want to talk about what was there before You Got Me Blogging. Wow, now, it is a case study. I won't go repeat again on the tools and all that. I'll just go a case study how I started blogging. It's called taufikfatisa.net. It's a Malay name from Singapore. And it started from Blogger. Back in 2004, the first round of Singapore Idol was run in Singapore, obviously. And it was a personal interest of mine. I watch it every now and then on TV. And suddenly I become very fanatical about it. I chase it every day, and I became a die-hard fan. And I started blogging about it. Back then, I had a blog on Blogger, and I just post random stuff, just things I think only one friend and my mom would want to read about. But I started blogging about Singapore Idol, about which one I think should kick out from the round, which one I think is hustling for votes, which one I support, which one I think got the worst performance and all that. I started posting photos, coverage of articles, videos, audios, and I started cultivating a following. And it peaked during the finals of Singapore Idol in 2004 in December. And so back then it was still on Blogger, and I learned a lot from the entire experience. The whole experience took about 6 months. I learned that I need to have my own blogging voice. You need to be speaking the language of the audience. Back in Singapore, you have this thing called Singlish. So I blog in Singlish. And I don't care about typos, I don't care about grammar. The most important thing is that I type as I would text, SMS someone. I post it up first, and I'll get flaming comments about my English, and I don't care. It's my blog, But I just publish it as, my writing gets better, hopefully, over time. I keep it as real as possible, as local as possible, and I work hard on it. So to have your blogging voice is very, very important, no matter what subject you're blogging about. And there are a couple of other learnings as well, the 3 commandments I call it. You must be very hardworking. If you want to have a lot of followers, a lot of readers, you must be very hardworking in the blog. Blogging is as good as a second job. What happened back then in Singapore Idol during the last 2 months leading to the final is like I finished at 6, I reached home at 7:30, and I start blogging, I won't stop until 2. It's that hard a job. Later you'll see why. You must be very diligent. Almost the entire coverage of Singapore media, Singapore Idol is on my blog. I copied articles. Back then, it was so far back that I didn't know much about copyright and all that. So I put everything on my blog. So it's like my blog is the destination. for anything you want to know about Singapore Idol, and it must be very useful. You might have your own expertise at work, but blogging and the topic that you'll be blogging about should be your other wisdom. If you're not something passionate about, have a lot of knowledge about, your readers will know that you are fake. You know, try to do something that you're not really so qualified to do. So you be knowledgeable and just try to give out useful information to your readers. So some of the key things that really key takeaways from I want to share with you is that if you think of it, do it. So what happened is that the tsunami in Thailand, in Southeast Asia, happened around that time. It clashes with a time when I tried to collect iPod fund for the idol I was supporting for his birthday. So it got some media coverage. I got some flaming comments and threats and all that say that I'm cheating people's money. I'm collecting funds for iPod for an idol when people are suffering tsunami. In any case, I raised the iPod fund and I raised a tsunami fund, and I do both at the same time, and it worked. It worked well. And you're never afraid to experiment. If you think of it, I think I need 3 communities for 3 different type of people in my among my readers. I do it. I run 3 forums. It was crazy to monitor 3 forums on your own, but I did it. And you go wide, you go deep, you keep the people clicking. That's very how you get a page view. At one point of time, your blogger do not have categories. So I need 14 categories. So I set up 14 blogs. It's all one network, one template, but it's actually run by 14 blogs. So you see something like taufikbatisa.photo.blogspot.com, taufikbatisanews.blogspot.com, and so on. So it was crazy. At one point in time, I used blogs for my internal communication with some of my team members as well. And at one point in time, I have about 45 blogs and bloggers. So it was quite crazy, but keep trying. Marketing of content, and great content is given. If you want to be a famous blogger, you must give great content. That's a given. And back in 2004, those were the days before social media. I didn't have Facebook, I didn't have Twitter, I only have my blog, and email, and MSN, and ICQ. So there are a couple of things that I did. It's like 2-factor. I make sure that my blog is easy to find, the SEO and all that. Yeah, I started learning about those when I started my